What's happening, everybody? Welcome to today's video on things I suck at. Today I'll be sketching a three-quarter view of Togashi from 100 meters. I recently watched this movie yesterday as of recording, and before that I actually got around to finishing Genosha. I guess some thoughts on Genosha. I thought it was really good anime. I thought it was really interesting. I thought the whole idea of the time looping with the imposter among us on the ship was really interesting, and I'm not going to spoil the ending, but it was very cool with the whole world line situation, kind of similar to Steins Gate, how they talk about world lines, but how they did it specifically in this show and how they got around the grandfather paradox was very interesting to me. And for those of you who don't know the grandfather paradox, in essence it's a time travel paradox where if you go back in time to kill your grandfather, then by that logic, you would never be alive. So how do you kind of fix that issue or that paradox specifically with time travel? So I thought that was pretty cool and pretty interesting. And on to 100 meters, I thought it was a really good movie. It came out in September. It wasn't super popular, I think, in North America anyways, but I heard that it won quite a few awards in Japan. I thought it was very good. I thought it was an interesting story with Togashi, the prodigy runner, and I forgot the other character's name, but this other guy, what's his name? Komiya, that's his name. This other guy, Komiya, who is definitely not a gifted runner, but he just runs fast just through sheer grit and will. It was interesting because we started the story in Komiya's point of view, learning from the prodigy, and then we kind of finish the story looking at things through Togashi's eyes as the prodigy and seeing what he has to battle through, going from being a big fish in a small pond to becoming just an average sized fish in a large pond, and having to navigate the whole idea of going against people that are better than you and just you are no longer special when you're going up against other prodigies. And that was an interesting concept. What I liked about it too was the real intensity. The scenes I noticed built up this really special intensity in the race moments. I'm not sure if any of you watching this have grown up doing track and field, but I had done a few races back in the day, back in grade school and middle school and so on. Man, there are very few situations or sports more intense than track and field, in the sense that it's nerve-wracking. You're waiting for the moment to go, the gun goes off, and no matter what you do, it's going to suck. It probably sucks less if you're doing a 100-meter race. I used to specialize in the 1500 and long-distance races, and that always sucked, waiting for the gun and the whole nerve-wracking situation, knowing that the whole race is just on you and there's nobody there to help you. It's you against everybody else, and you're kind of just on your own to fend for yourself. And just in general, it's a very nerve-wracking event. I used to hate doing track and field. I used to hate it absolutely. So watching this 100 meters movie brought back some good memories, so to say. I'm going to call it good memories just for the sake of it. Either way, I thought it was a good movie. I think my personal favorite movie of 2025 is still Chainsaw Man Raise the Ark. That movie was just so much peak. I also saw Demon Slayer Infinity Castle in theaters, but Chainsaw Man was just so much peak. But that's not the point. Maybe I'll draw a Chainsaw Man character in the near future, but today we're talking about 100 meters. I don't know what else there was to say about it. There were some other interesting perspectives. There was the side characters that were also obviously fast runners. There's this Unk guy, this old guy. I'll put a picture up as I'm editing. He was pretty funny because he was this old guy, this relatively old, but he was running in the national championships with all these young guys, and it was pretty funny. And he won a race actually just through sheer force of will and delusion. And I thought he was one of my favorite characters. I really appreciated his mentality that he partook in. The mentality where even though there's a bunch of young people here and I'm past my prime, I don't really care. I'm still going to do my best. And I thought that was a very admirable perspective to embody, especially in something as grueling as track and field, where it really is a young man's game. So I thought that was interesting as well. Otherwise, that was kind of all the thoughts that I had for 100 meters. It was a good movie. For me personally, it wasn't anything special. I think it was a solid movie, though. It was enjoyable. The art style was awesome. I forgot to talk about that. The art style was crazy. The movements felt so dynamic and so real. It honestly felt like they strapped motion capture suits to people, watched them move, and then copied that hand by hand on the animation side. Because honestly, it looked so fluid. It almost looked uncanny. That's how good it was. Maybe someone in the comments below can tell me how exactly they did the animation, or how the animation process worked specifically. But that was just my guess of how they could have done it, because I thought it was super crisp, it was super smooth. In general, it was awesome. Really crazy artwork, and the way the animation was done really gave you an insight into the mentality and the mental perspectives and mental shifts of the characters as well while they're running. When what's his name again? When Kuma was about to pass out, the lines would kind of go blurry and you would kind of see his tunnel vision through his perspective. The same thing when Togashi got some bad news. I'm not going to spoil it, but he did get some bad news in the show. His vision kind of went dark, and then especially after his race where he lost one of his races, it was a raining scene, and the way the rain fell and just enveloped him would be the correct word, and the entire screen just went black and white, and that's all you could see was him being enveloped in the rain. That was a really incredible shot as well. So the animation for me was a highlight, and it was definitely a interesting style of animation. I would have to do more research on my own to see the more specifics about it, but otherwise it was a pretty cool show. And thanks for stopping by and watching me do another thing that I suck at. I hope you all have a good one. Talk to you soon.
The skyscrapers fall.